Bates. So a tough go for Florida here in Eugene as we get ready for the men's 5,000 meters. Henry Rono still has the collegiate record. Lawi Lalang with the meet record. Justin Knight, who is in this race, has the collegiate best. And there is Justin Knight in his final race of his collegiate career.
Well, he's had just such a wonderful career. 2000 NCAA Indoor 5K champ. He's done about everything there is to do. He's won everything in the ACC, 8-time ACC champion, 7-time All-American. But certainly comes in here as the class of the field. Has run 13:18 for a season best. He represents Canada. He was in the 5,000 meter final at the World Championships last year. He said he did a little fanboying with Mo Farah in that particular race. There we see Andy Truard. He stole the 3,000 meter crown from Justin Knight indoors. It was a battle, and Truard outkicked him with 200 meters to go. But he didn't run anything else at this particular meet. He's saving it up. And there's last year's champion from Stanford, Grant Fisher. A little bit of a surprise winner last year, but certainly a guy to contend with. He could give Justin Knight some fits. I don't think we'll see an extremely fast race today in these conditions. So it will be a kicker's race in that last mile.
"24 athletes in this 5,000 meters. That's how many athletes got through in every event from the regionals. 12 from the West, 12 from the East, and in the 5,000 and 10,000, it's just a final, no semifinals. So it's a pretty large group. And depending on pace, you add the rain and the cold and the water being kicked back up in your face. If they don't string it out with an honest pace, you could be looking at some problems. We'll try to point out those who are doubling back from the 10,000 meters from the other day.
Well, and one of those athletes who feels that he's a better 5,000 meter runner than a 10,000 was Dylan Maggard. He finished third from Utah State. Had an outstanding run. He says that he believes this 5K is more of his sweet spot. And I feel a little silly, Dwight, when we see those team scores. You know, I knew Georgia was going to be a factor, but in the you know, when we came on camera at the beginning, they didn't get a mention. So, you know, look at him just rolling up the points and doing really well right now.
Well, everything has come together for them nicely today. Houston was making a run with until Brian Barraza went down in the final lap of the steeplechase, scored no points whatsoever. Florida's just having a tough time. Just Grant Holloway not getting any points in the long jump, only 7th place out of Keandra Bates. You never would predict that, but that's why they have the track meet, and that's why it's so interesting. There's so many different things can happen. A lot of pushing and shoving going on because the pace is pretty slow and not everybody has all the running room that they need. See Justin Knight out there at about 7th or 8th place running in lane 2, which means he's running extra distance. They're going just over 14-minute pace for the distance.
Well, our leader, Zach Perrin out of Colorado. Justin Knight, God, what a great tactician. He can run from the front. He can run from the back. He always knows where he's at. Always seems to stay out of trouble. He's one of these guys who doesn't get bumped or jostled. He always seems to be in the right position.
So starting to lengthen out a little bit here, which is encouraging. Let me count here. It looks like 5 athletes doubling back from the 10,000. There is Kiprop of Alabama, Vincent Kiprop, who got run down in the finishing straight in that 10,000 meters. So with 10 laps remaining, we'll step aside for a moment and Dan will handle what happened in the men's triple jump. Okay, so I misunderstood our statistician. I thought he said they got 7th. They got 7, which was less than they expected, but still not the disaster that it would have been if they had gotten only 7th place. Bates, with the defending champion, they're really counting on him. They had a lot of people, Florida that is, had a lot of people here, so they could afford a few bobbles here and there like the one with Grant Holloway in the long jump, but they're really having a tough time. These conditions certainly aren't helping. as we get back now to the 5,000 meters. First kilometer in just under 3 minutes, so about 14:35 pace. So they need to pick it up a little bit if they're going to take it out of the hands of the kickers. So with this well established, we are going to step aside and come back on the other side with more 5,000 meter running. Points in the high jump. As we get back to the men's 5,000 meters, it is 7:12 at the halfway mark, so 14:24 pace. Eamon Kemboy of Campbell is leading currently. Justin Knight still biding his time back in the pack. There's Rory Linkletter of Canada, who doubling back from the 10,000 meters, is up there. Justin Knight about, I would say, 7th or 8th, Dan. Right in the middle of the pack.
Right behind Grant Fisher there, and he just looks really comfortable. And we see a slew of the Alabama runners. Kiprop, Keegan is up there, and Chalanga. But these Campbell Camels up front, real solid runners.
Kim Koech ran the 10, but Kemboy did not. So we're starting to run out of laps to run as it's nicely strung out now. Sean McGordy of Stanford also up there along with Grant Fisher. A big point possibility for Stanford here. And these conditions probably pretty good for 5,000 meter running. Right about 60 degrees, and though the track is wet, it's only barely drizzling. So not too much rain in your eyes as you're running along. And most of the field still in it.
There we see Andy Truard of Northern Arizona. He moves up to take the position right behind Justin Knight. So all the principals still there.
It's a big point scoring opportunity for Alabama. The conference, they went 1-2-3 in the 10,000 meters. There's Justin Knight. He is right about in 8th place, or now moving up to about 6th. So still some running left to go, but they come around. There's only be a couple laps remaining. And not getting himself in a position to be relevant. Back in 8th place right now, but plenty of room to run. So the Camels are now 1st and 3rd, with McGordy of Stanford in 2nd. Then a couple of BYU runners in there, and then Grant Fisher, the defending champion.
Well, Stanford did this very same thing at the Western Regional. McGordy pushed the pace a little bit, led it all the way, and then Grant Fisher came in hard in the last couple of laps to finish off the Western Conference Championship. And Justin Knight has moved into position. He knows he doesn't have a chance if he lets those leaders get too far out in front. He is a fantastic finisher, but not a great quarter miler.
Andy Truard of Northern Arizona also up there. He gets the benefit of that altitude up in Flagstaff, Arizona. Now McGordy taking over the leading duties, and Fisher right in good spot in 3rd. Knight now in 4th. Truard in 5th.
Well, there you see in 3rd place, that's Grant Fisher, last year's champion. Justin Knight, the indoor champion. Andy Truard, the indoor champion. Justin Knight, the indoor 5K champion. And Maggard, who was 3rd in the 10K, right behind him.
And McGordy just threw in a 63-second lap, which is why you see the field now really strung out as they come up for the bell. McGordy leading over Kemboy, Fisher, Justin Knight, Andrew Truard, Dylan Maggard back from the 10,000 meters, and now they start to wind it up. McGordy still looks like he has another gear. In fact, all those first 6 look like they have another gear. Here comes Kemboy.
Watch the turnover. Watch the rhythm now, but for Grant Fisher and Justin Knight.
McGorty rebuffs that move.
Here comes Truart on the outside.
And Fisher and Knight. McGorty has a good head of steam, though. Justin Knight may have given him too much. Fisher trying to catch his teammate. McGorty's going to pull it off. Is Knight going to get second? Maybe. Very close. It was maybe a 1-2 Stanford finish in this 5,000 meters. Sean McGorty taking over the leading duties, and then just no one was able to cover his move. Eamon Kemboy, with about 180 meters to go, looked like he was downshifting and trying to make the move, but he just wasn't able to do it. Look at how fast, close this is for second. McGorty is clear for first. And it's the torso now. Justin Knight, I think, got second.
Well,
yes.
McGorty did a great job taking the legs out of everybody in those last 2 laps. And these champions that are behind him say, hey, this isn't supposed to happen. That guy's supposed to fade a little bit. We're the better kickers. Knight goes 56-2 in the final 400, but it was just a little bit too late.
Very close finish in that 5,000. Sean McGorty holding off Justin Knight and his own teammate, the defending champion, Grant Fisher, for the win. It's 16 points for the Cardinal, and the champion is downstairs with John.
16 big points for Stanford here with Sean McGorty, and they tried to run you down off that last quarter. You didn't let them have it.
Yeah, I think that's really been something I've been working on is, going to the lead because I'm confident and I know, I can win that way. I have a teammate, Grant, who has an amazing kick. He won nationals last year. And, I really couldn't be happier right now. It's my last race in a Stanford uniform, and I don't think it could have ended much better than this.
What's it like to have that guy who's a champ to train with every day, to run with, and to lean on?
Oh, absolutely. It's been great. 1 year ago, I was back at campus because I was about to get Achilles surgery, and we saw Grant win. He's the only guy here. And so we really just want to have a team that's always here and a team presence. But he's amazing. Only a junior. He'll be back next year, and hopefully we can keep it in the family.
I've been down here in the infield, my umbrella, complaining about how bad the weather is, but it seems like actually not a bad night to go out and run, 5K.
Absolutely. I think it was actually pretty great weather. It was not hot at all. Really just had a slight drizzle. It might not look pretty, but it was great running conditions.
Sean McGorty, champ, 5,000 meters.